This is the one to ride.
In professional rodeo, only healthy animals are permitted to compete. Rodeo judges inspect the stock to ensure all are fit. Chutes are designed to prevent injuries to the animals, and no chemical stimulants are ever allowed. PRCA rules regulate the minimum and maximum size and weight of timed event cattle to oversee the ideal weight of animals for each event. Additionally, a contestant is only allowed a certain amount of time to complete his competition, or he's disqualified. In roping competitions, the steer's horns are wrapped for protection. In steer wrestling, PRCA rules require that the steer weigh at least 450 pounds. That's a distinct weight advantage over a cowboy who may weigh only half as much or less, and who need finesse more than brute strength to win the match. Bucking horses and bulls are in a rodeo because they buck. Like thoroughbred racehorses, rodeo rough stock are carefully bred and selected to produce animals with a strong athletic disposition, the result of which is a desire to buck. Fleece or neoprene-lined flank straps never come into contact with the genitals of the bucking horses or bulls and are not pulled tight, only adjusted to enhance the bucking action. They do it because it's their nature.
Well, there is a misconception of the flank strap. People think that it's wrapped around their genitals. People think that it's got spikes and things like that, and that's all as far from the truth as it could be. The flank strap, in fact, is a heavy leather strap that's wrapped in double layer of sheepskin. It's heavy and it's soft, and the horses would want to buck anyways, but it just encourages them to buck in a fashion where when they jump in the air, they kick at it, it loosens up, and when they hit the ground, they want to kick at it again. So that just helps to give them timing.
A bareback rigging's built to fit the way a horse is built. So it fits them smoothly around above their withers, you know, behind their withers, so it sits on them smoothly. And when you pull it with your cinch, it's a mohair cinch or a neoprene cinch, so they're soft and everything. And you don't pull it to where it's going to harm your animal, because a cinch can't really harm your animal. They're a big, wide cinch. They're just built to fit a horse and to keep your rigging in place. A flank is just like you sitting there and tightening up your belt one extra notch. It's a little bit snug, but as soon as you stretch out, your belt loosens up. And it's the same theory with a horse. When they stretch out and kick, the flank loosens up. So it's a relief to kick. So it's a stimulant to make them kick instead of rearing. So every time they kick, they think they've lost the flank, they hit the ground, and there your belt is a little bit tight, so they kick again.
The bull rope, it's a loose braided rope. You know, I don't know that you'd use, you know, like anything from a lasso to tie a gate shut or whatever, you know. I mean, it's just a loose braided polyester rope, and there's nothing on it or in it, you know, to hurt an animal. And there's bells that hang underneath it, and all the bells are actually is for a weight to when the bull's done bucking, so the rope comes off in the arena. In the bull riding, like, it's more difficult to spur, but if you do spur, you get more points. And bulls don't get cut or nothing. If anything occurs that they did get cut, we get fined for it. We get money taken away from us. So we don't want to hurt the animals. Like, it's a movement that we make to get more points.
I have never had to treat an animal from an injury caused by a flank strap or the rigging that the cowboys use to hold on to the animal or to stay on the animal and use to compete.
Well, in steer wrestling, I mean, horses over half of what we do. Everybody thinks it's a strength event. A lot of big guys do it, but I mean, I'm not very big and get along decent. It's more of a technique, and yeah, it takes strength, but if you do it right, it's not actually that hard on the animal. And there's, you know, weight limits and everything. That all has to do with, you know, keeping the stock healthy. If they're too big, you know, they'll get hurt, and too small, the same. And it's kept, you know, close track of. If something does get sore, they're out for rodeos.
Yeah, I think the largest misconception is that they actually hurt the steer's neck in order to get him to fall down. And in fact, the truth of the matter is those steers are bigger and stronger than the cowboys themselves, and so without having the appropriate biomechanical advantage, which essentially is leverage, they use the steer's weight to get them going in an opposite direction, and when they change that direction, then they fall down. So the neck, I don't think I've ever, in 26 years of practice, seen a steer's neck hurt from bulldogging or steer wrestling. The calves are large and strong and very healthy. And the cowboys now have developed techniques where they throw a coil down the rope, which essentially takes a lot of the jerk out of it and turns the calves around rather than jerking them over backwards. It's not unusual to see a calf roper stop in the middle of their run and take a no time if they've got a calf in a position they think is going to hurt them. And I think that's a big testament to those guys appreciating and taking care of the livestock that they use.
Since the first cowboys staged a riding and roping competition in a dusty trail town more than a century ago, rodeo has been a traditional part of the American sports landscape. Whether it's a small town celebration or a spectacular event like the National Finals in Las Vegas, rodeo is a uniquely American sport that appeals to more and more fans every year. Rodeo contributes to the economies of rural towns and big cities alike, and it reaches out to the people of those communities in more ways than just entertainment. Many participants in professional rodeo come from families who make their livelihood by raising and caring for animals. The close relationship between cowboy and livestock is evident in the time and money spent caring for their horses, raising and breeding livestock, and the countless hours needed to work and train closely with their animals.
Some people wonder if I'm pulling their leg or not when I say the animals love to go to rodeos. They want to do that. They know what's expected of them, want to be a part of it. If I was to park a horse trailer out in my pasture and leave the back door open, it would be full of horses. They would just come to the pasture, go into the load up in the horse trailer all by themselves, be ready to go. They don't mind it. I mean, they got to be telling stories back here in the pens behind me after the rodeo about, did you see me buck that guy off, and things like that. You can tell they enjoy what they're doing.
If I came back in another life, I would love to be a bucking horse. I wouldn't be very good to ride. I would be a nasty son of a gun. But I would work 8 seconds, maybe every second week, and eat grass, get along with all my buddies. They get to take it pretty easy there in one place on the weekend. We're usually at 5 or 6. It's a great life as far as I'm concerned.
The sport of rodeo continues to thrive today because the PRCA has always made animal welfare its #1 priority.